thank you everybody for taking the time with us. I'd like to welcome you to the Skype Operations Framework Cloud Migration Release Overview session. So over the next sort of 45 minutes, I'm providing an overview of the SOF Cloud Migration Release. What's new, what's hopefully interesting and exciting for you, where to get the materials, and then where to go from there. So a couple of things just to mention before we get going into the content. Effectively, this is the kind of what's new session. So when we first launched the Skype Operations Framework, we said that this was a living framework we'd be extending over time, and the Cloud Migration Release is the next extension of that. So one of the things that I just want to make people aware of is that we had the original recording from summer of 2016 for SOF Overview, and this really is as a delta to that last recording. If you've not seen the original SOF Overview recording, then we recommend you start there, as we cover off more information about SOF internals in that session. And if you have seen that session, then let's continue. Again, all of our training is posted at skypeoperationsframework.com/academy. So I'd like to just take a couple of moments to introduce myself and our team. My name is Lester Hewitt. As Janice said, I'm a Principal Customer Engineering Architect, and I'm one of the authors of a number of articles within SOF, as well as the overall coordinator. Our team is part of the Skype for Business product group, and we have the following goals, which is really to enhance the customer and partner experience by capturing feedback to influence our own product direction, also enabling organizations of any size to get to our cloud service by providing that best-in-class readiness and deployment services. So the Skype Operations Framework is one of the initiatives that we created to help meet those goals. And we're going to be talking about that in a bit more detail throughout this session. So a quick disclaimer about the training. As we said, SOF is a living framework. We are and continue to update and innovate on a constant basis, and we do add new content as we go. If you're watching this in kind of October timeframe, and this is very fresh, if you're watching it in a month down the road, we may have added more content to that. So if there are later trainings that we posted at skypeoperationsframework.com/academy, and you know what we were saying, this session has been recorded in October 2016 and really covers the cloud migration release and what have we added to SOF in the round since we launched first in summer of 2016. So let's take a moment to look at the learning objectives for this session. So what I hope that we will cover off, and what I'd want to discuss and share with you over the next kind of 40 odd minutes, is to cover off the key updates to the Skype Operations Framework, so that you understand that this is more than just the tools and assets. It's actually a wider update to the entire framework that's delivered through the cloud migration release. I want to make sure that by the end of the session, you'll know where to download our updated materials from, where to access training, and our SOF partner lists. And I also want to make sure that you understand the new mechanisms we have for providing feedback, both the existing feedback mechanism and also something we're very excited to talk about later on today, which is the Skype Operations Framework Community. So let's look at the agenda of what we're going to be covering in this session. We're going to start off by providing a brief introduction to the Skype Operations Framework. Just as a kind of brief intro to explain why we created Skype Operations Framework and the benefits that we believe using SOF will bring. We'll undertake a brief recap of the summer 2016 Get Deployed release. Again, please refer to the Academy training to get a deeper understanding of that release and its materials. In autumn 2016, we released a cloud migration release, and we'll walk you through with this session the new customer journeys that enable that release, and we'll walk through the new investments we've made in SOF as part of this. We'll finish on discussing where to access materials and follow on training, have a little share on what the future of the Skype Operations Framework holds, and then we'll leave the last 5 to 10 minutes of the session to focus on Q&A. So as Janice said earlier on, if you do have any questions during the session, please feel free to use the Q&A manager, get them in early, and then we can work on them as we go through the presentation. So please send in your questions. Very much looking forward to reading those. So let's dig a little bit into the Skype Operations Framework itself. And we created the Skype Operations Framework to help you deliver success in your Skype for Business online deployments and migrations. So how does it do that? So I'd like you to have a look at some of the following questions. Give you a couple of seconds to have a little look through some of these. So I'd imagine that most of you have pondered the following questions at some point in your career of working with Link, Skype for Business, Skype Business Online. I know I have. So when we were thinking about what was the Skype Operations Framework created to do, it was created to provide guidance to help our customers and partners answer key questions like these and drive delivery success with Skype for Business Online. This is a quick recap of Skype Operations Framework over the next 2 to 3 slides. If you want to know more about SOF overview, then I suggest review the original SOF overview recording, where we'll go into more details of SOF foundation and internals, a little bit more into the internal structure of the Skype Operations Framework for those people that want to spend some time looking at that. So as a quick introduction again then, as we stated with the questions to ponder in the previous slide, we're often being asked for guidance, tools and assets to assist with successfully delivering Skype for Business Online. In our daily discussions, we came across 2 broad requests for guidance. Partners and customers who want to be able to build on their current skills and experiences, which they gain from designing and deploying Link and Skype for Business on-premise, and to leverage this to help them in the move to the cloud. Their focus is understanding what the move to the cloud service means to them through the lens of plan, deliver, and operate. Partners and customers who are also coming to Skype Business Online for the first time have been asking for guidance, and they're looking for guidance on where to start building their own capabilities and competencies to drive their own successful deliveries. So we, the Skype for Business product group, created Skype Operations Framework for both customers and partners to meet this need of guidance. The team, who I'm very proud to work with and worked on these assets, have had many years of customer-facing experience between them and are working with our customers delivering Skype for Business Online on a daily basis. We field test many of these assets as we create them, as well as getting feedback from the field during our development cycles, which allows us to take that feedback, which is a very important part of the Skype Operations Framework, and to feed that back into our development cycles and where we take the assets and where we take the materials to make sure that we're meeting our goals and our needs of our customers and our partners. So let's have a little look on the next slide of what we have started to create as we went through this. So I think if somebody was to ask in a nutshell, what is the Skype Operations Framework? In a nutshell, it's really around delivering success. It's around providing that best-in-class planning, delivery, and operations methodology in a way that becomes repeatable, in a way that becomes reusable, in a way that can be used and incorporated into your projects to really make sure that when you deliver, you're delivering the right way for either deployments or migrations every time. So we believe that SOF drives the acceleration of cloud capabilities, enabling customers and partners to deploy with confidence, whether they have on-premises experience or are coming to Skype for Business Online the first time. What the Skype Operations Framework enables our customers and partners to do is to focus on core competencies rather than creating methodologies. An important area around this is also providing a common language of our lifecycle phases, plan, deliver, and operate, to describe a delivery of Skype for Business Online to help align the field, customers, and partners. So why did we create the Skype Operations Framework? We created it really due to the shift to the cloud. So the shift to the cloud moves you onto an evergreen platform where new workloads and capabilities are enabled by the cloud on an ongoing basis. The shift to the cloud means that you no longer need to manage Skype for Business on-premises servers. You get the benefits of the evergreen Skype for Business Online service improvements. That said, there is still a need to plan, deliver, and operate customer-side components to consume the service in a way that delivers reliability and quality to your end users. So let's dig into that a little bit more detail. So when we think about the shift to the cloud, it's sometimes interesting to put it into context of where we've been operating over the previous generation. So if you look back at many of the on-premise deployments I've been involved with, and many of my customers and many of my partners and many of you have been involved with, traditionally with on-premise deployment, we found that new capabilities, features, and workloads were delivered as a step change every few years. Back-end upgrades were required to access new capabilities. End users had to wait quite some time between back-end upgrades. And then they found that they had a real step change in features. A whole load of new features came in at once, and they had to really learn and assimilate in over a short period of time about which features they wanted to use and move forwards. So it's that ability of bringing new capabilities into line and into consideration is where an important area of this comes into play. So customers tell us that the opportunity to drive innovation and business benefits exists when they look at their existing interactions and processes and consider how to apply new workloads or capabilities to those business processes. Some examples of this may be a customer service, maybe looking at how project teams work, or it may be HR interviewing new staff. So all of these processes have been improved by customers and partners when they apply Skype for Business capabilities and unlock business benefits. So this shift to the cloud moves customers onto an evergreen platform where new workloads and capabilities are enabled in the cloud and available faster to end users. The delivery of new workloads and features in an accelerated manner encourages customers to continue to be curious, but also requires a shift in mindset to a service-orientated view, where continual improvement is considered the new normal and is both expected and planned for. So SOF provides that practical guidance targeted across the lens of plan, deliver, and operate via a range of tools and assets such as those outlined on the right-hand side of this slide. The key point is that we also provide the methodology and workflow for how to sequence using these assets to drive the customer journey and required outcomes. And one of the things that we will talk about a number of times through the training is really where do you go to get that workflow? Where do we lay that out? And a point I'll make a number of times during the session is that we have our cloud migration and our get deployed description documents. And inside those, a great place to look is there's a bill of materials table that really takes you through end to end, starting at week 1 and finishing at week 9, 10, 11, 12, of the types of activities and that workflow and that set of processes. So really, it's important that it's not only the assets and workshops and questionnaires and tests and tools and scripts and checklists and the like. It actually is also, more importantly, that workflow, that journey you take through using those assets to deliver your end goals. So if we think about SOF structurally, then SOF is a multifaceted approach. And we really put customer success, that delivering success, at the heart of the Skype Operations Framework facets. We'll spend a little time thinking about where some of those pieces come together. So we have the framework itself, which is how we think about delivering our assets within the lens of plan, deliver, and operate. We have a whole readiness approach through Skype Academy, which is around helping and teaching not only Skype for Business product updates, but also Skype Operation Framework best practices and materials. And if you're here at the recording or here for the recorded session, you will have accessed that via Skype Academy. It's here for customers who want to use the materials on their own deployments, and it's here for partners to be able to get up to speed with the Skype Operations Framework, to certify with it, and to use it in their own deployments to drive success. So it really is very much a multifaceted approach. And one of the great things that we'll be looking at over the rest of this session is some of the new things we've added to extend and enhance the Skype Operations Framework beyond the initial release, which we released in the summer of 2016. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about what's new in SOF before I spend the next kind of 15-20 minutes covering this off. So we'll start off with cloud migration and some of those new and updated assets. Very pleased to talk to you about SOF Quick Start, a new way of engaging with SOF. We're going to walk you through some examples of some of the updated materials. We'll spend a little bit of time thinking about partners and the SOF assessment, talk a little bit about the changes we've made to the SOF Academy, and introduce our SOF community. So I'd like to start by thinking about the SOF journeys to the cloud that we have enabled. So when we released the Get Deployed release in summer of 2016, we're really targeting two key customer journeys. We're targeting the journey from Greenfield to Skype for Business Online, embracing Cloud PBX and PSTN conferencing. We're also embracing the journey of those organizations that may have deployed Skype for Business Online for instant messaging and presence, and now wanted to add real-time workloads to that deployment. But it's very much targeted and focused purely on the online experience. And we call that collection of activities and assets our sort of Get Deployed customer journey. So for those customers who are on the Greenfield or existing online only deployment, Get Deployed was the set of assets and workflows that helped them to deliver success in that implementation. And to find out more about Get Deployed, please refer on Skype Academy to the training, which is called Cloud PBX and PSTN Conferencing Get Deployed. And there is a wealth of information related to that customer journey and the activities and assets that make up Get Deployed. But we're here to talk about the new stuff. So let's think about the new journey that we have put, which is, so in autumn 2016, we released an update to the Skype Operations Framework called the Cloud Migration Release, where we added a new customer journey. So the new customer journey we've added is those customers with existing Link 2013 or Skype for Business, either in an on-premise or hybrid deployment, who want to migrate users and workloads to Skype for Business Online. So this is our cloud migration journey. We have created a new set of assets and materials, and we've updated many of the existing updates and materials to extend this additional dimension into the materials we provided as part of the Skype Operations Framework. So this journey adds new scenarios, and those new scenarios need to be catered for. So as I said, we've updated soft core assets, and we've created new assets to enable this journey. Now, as the Skype Operations Framework is a multifaceted framework, we've also taken the opportunity of the Cloud Migration Release to extend SOF, and we'll discuss these changes over the coming few minutes. So I want to start off with a very, very quick overview of the Cloud Migration offer itself. So the Cloud Migration offer is available to download from the skypeoperationsframework.com site. And over the coming few days, if you're listening to this on the recording or available on Skype Academy, we'll be able to more in-depth material on the cloud migration itself and the activities and assets that make up cloud migration. But it's really around extending the Skype Operations Framework, and it's intended to play a critical role in helping our customers and partners migrate from current on-premises deployments to Skype for Business Online, leveraging our life cycle of plan, deliver, and operate. So cloud migration contains an updated set of tools, workshops, and methodologies specific to supporting customers with an on-premises deployment or a hybrid deployment migrate to Skype for Business Online. Assets that make up this investment also cover the hybrid coexistence period between on-premises and online versions, and more importantly, focusing on some of the operate activities that take place when you're sitting in that hybrid world during the migration timeframe. The activities and assets that make up cloud migration can be leveraged by organizations of any size. The intention is to provide resources that Microsoft partners and customers can leverage and incorporate into their own planning, delivering, and operating processes. We do have follow-on deep dive sessions on cloud migration, or followed by additional individual activity asset training on Skype Academy. So we would love you to come back, register for those trainings if you haven't already registered, or come and consume them once they've been recorded. I wanted to give you a quick view of what we actually provided during our cloud migration assets. So again, we have provided assets to give you that whole idea of the kind of the outcome at the start of this. What is it we're trying to actually help you to achieve? We have extended assets through envisioning, assessing overall readiness. There's been extension of the work around determining network readiness and some new work around how to do a baseline health assessment for the existing on-premises environments. We then move into some exciting new assets to help with the deployment and rollout, and a load of new assets relating to the operate phase around operating that hybrid platform. So we have, as I said, follow-on training for all of these new assets and updated assets, but I just wanted to give you a kind of overview at this point of cloud migration assets, that we again providing assets between plan, deliver, and operate. And we provide the workflow within the cloud migration description document, which you can download from the cloud migration page on skypeoperationsframework.com, which is a great place to start to understand the order that one would process through these assets in your customer journey. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other things that have been updated, some of the key points, a little bit of an introduction, if you like, to some of the materials that are going to be following over the training over the coming week or so. So one that is an interesting one is we've updated the network readiness assessment to reflect the feedback received through our Skype Academy and Skype Operations Framework feedback loops. So we've updated this asset set by adding both a Microsoft Essentials tool for network testing, as well as multiple partner tools that can be used not just for testing, but also for simulation and troubleshooting as well. We've provided additional guidance on important subjects such as express route usage and usage of network simulation tools. So I would recommend that you access the updated network readiness assessment training and the soft materials to find out more about this, and also there will be links to downloads on our site and our partner pages. So great thing to go and look at. Very important key aspect of any Skype for Business online deployment or migration is that network readiness piece, making sure the network's ready, having done some level of analysis across the network to understand the level of quality expected and whether there's any additional media optimization that might be required to execute that. So another new asset that we're very pleased to announce is the site rollout and migration playbook. So as part of our cloud migration release, we have spent some time working on a site-by-site rollout and migration playbook. And this asset provides practical guidance on the timing and activities that need to take place on that site-by-site rollout, covering pre-launch, launch, and post-launch activities. So what it's doing is really saying at a kind of starting at a T-10 weeks as a kind of nominal datum point, what should you be doing that kind of 2.5 months out to get ready for that site migration? Again, with all of the timings that we provide with our assets, they're estimates and guidelines. It may take some organizations will move through these quicker, some will take a little bit longer depending on their complexity and their size. But the idea around this, this site rollout and migration playbook guides you through when should you send out site discovery and giving you some additional site discovery templates. So we can look at things like, how many rooms are in play, what type of clients are running, what type of users are sitting on those sites, and go into some of the more intricate details of some of the existing voice requirements. Takes you through project management, service readiness. There's a whole lot of work around tying this into our user enablement scripts that you may remember for enabling and migrating users. And really also thinking about some of the adoption aspects of clients and devices and usage and feedback. So great new asset that we're adding to this, really helping to help plan a site-by-site rollout and migration. A lot of good feedback on this in some of the early days. Looking forward to your continued feedback on that asset. So that's just a very brief view into some of the new things that have come. There are a load more new assets and tools and documentation. I don't want to steal any of the thunder of the follow-on sessions by taking my time for too many of those, but I do want to introduce you during this session to more of the kind of overall and wider changes we've made to the Skype Operations Framework. So one of the things we've added is on the home page, we've added a quick start button. So we wanted to make it easier for our customers and partners to consume SOF. So we added quick start to SkypeOperationsFramework.com homepage to provide guidance on where to start consuming SOF based on the journey that you want to take. So that you'll see the quick start button on the homepage, and I imagine many people are clicking there now to start to take advantage of this. You're asked a couple of simple diagnostic questions, and then you get taken directly to a page that outlines which of our SOF investments is most likely to be of use to you and recommended next steps. And this is again, we look forward to your feedback on this new edition. It's something we'll be continued to extend as we go through, but it's something that we wanted to add to the Skype Operations Framework just to make it easier to get people the right starting point. And here, once you land on that right starting point, you can read a little bit about the either get deployed or the cloud migration journey, around some of the workflow pieces, and you're then given a nice targeted link about where to go for next stage around the workflow, and also where to access downloads and training related specifically to that customer journey that you are looking to investigate. So really say to people, take an opportunity, spend some time with Quick Start, spend some time looking at where it lands. Also, as well, the site's still designed to allow self-browse, so feel free to self-browse the materials that are on there. But hopefully, a quick start should make it a bit easier to get into the meat of Skype Operations Framework a bit faster for our customers and partners. Other areas that have been updated, extended through this is the Skype Academy. So we have the Get Deployed sessions that were recorded in August, which are available for viewing now. Many of those original sessions will have been re-recorded to include the updates for the materials that we are now delivering. And as well as that, we're adding the product training. So there's product training related to Cloud Connector, some very exciting new updates that have come with the Cloud Connector product set. And effectively, the other place we can do this is to get some of this more readiness material. So, one of the things we ask you to do is to register for the rest of the training sessions, and come back and consume those recording when available. At the time of this recording, which is, as we said, October 2016, we have more than 1,000 people and over 400 organizations who've undertaken SOF training. So, skypeoperationsframework.com/academy, place to go to get great training on not only SOF, but also on the Skype business product itself. So looking forward to seeing you there to be able to access those types of materials. A new piece that we have added into this is the SOF assessment. So the SOF assessments are available online to allow IT administrators and partners a means of validating their kind of all-up SOF readiness. One of the things that we get asked a lot of times is, hey, how do I best prepare to take a SOF assessment, and what do I get if I take it? Well, it gets you the Skype Operations Framework Ready classification, which is an important classification for our partners, for our customers. It also is a good way of understanding, whether your own investigations through SOF have really gone to the sort of a good level of depth. The best way of being able to prepare for this is to really immerse yourself in the SOF materials, which are available to download at skypeoperationsframework.com, and also to take part in the sessions, either live broadcasts as we're doing today, or to take part in the recorded conversations and recorded sessions afterwards, and effectively, feel free to discuss SOF with some of the discussion capabilities we talk about. So something new in there, the SOF assessment. Another area where we're extending the Skype Operations Framework is around our SOF partners. So, we provide SOF both for customers and for partners, and we know there are some customers who wish to have assistance with delivering their deployment or migration, and they can now access a list of SOF trained partners and links to the partner site through skypeoperationsframework.com partners. And an example of some of the partners up here who've gone through training with members of the Skype business team, become SOF ready, and to prepare deployment offerings that align with the SOF framework and are ready to help drive success with your project. So, as I said, it's adding partners to these lists on a kind of daily, weekly basis. So it's a great place to go, great resource, skypeoperationsframework.com/partners, if you want to get some assistance with your delivery and to reach out and make contact with those partner organizations. A great place to go. Also extending the reach. Partners, I do apologize for that. Also expanding the reach a little bit around the community aspect of this. So one of the important things around this is that we want to be able to enable a place where you can come to discuss your application of the Skype Operations Framework, projects on your peers, on the SOF team. And so we're very proud to launch the new SOF Community as part of developing the multifaceted approach to SOF. So we're looking forward to hearing from you on how you're applying SOF guidance to your projects, and also for sharing lessons learned. So please sign up and take part, and really looking forward to hearing about you on the community. So the idea behind this is really to learn a little bit more about how people are applying SOF on their projects, to have more of a discussion type conversation, both with the authors of SOF and also your peers in the community. So we're looking forward to seeing you there and discussing aspects of SOF that you wish to discuss with us. We'll also be having our own discussions that we'd like you to take part in, and we're using this as a way initially of being able to provide any kind of clarification and additional information that we think is relevant to help you in consuming the Skype Operations Framework. One area that we didn't talk about that is also new is we have the ability, or have a SOF blog. So as we make these types of updates to the Skype Operations Framework, we will announce them on the SOF blog and in the community. So they're great places to stay connected to us, basically to get you discussion and part of that Skype Operations Framework community. Okay, so where do you go to get all this great material, I hear you say? Well, that's the skypeoperationsframework.com site. Hopefully we've kind of people are aware of where they're going to get that. And I said, the nice quick start blue button right center forward of the front homepage stage is a great place to get started. One of the things that we tend to recommend is review the overview on that homepage, then click the get started button or quick start button. Alternatively, there's also the get started menu item, and you can have a read of the get deployed and cloud migration to get an idea for the breadth of materials that are available. But I'd say again, it's a great place to start. There's at the bottom of the get deployed and cloud migration pages, there is a single download you can download for the description document for each of those. So download those, have a look through them, and there you'll get a much better view of the end-to-end workflow for each journey, which covers the estimated timings, activities, and assets. It should be considered as a key document to keep at hand. So a good place to look is in the bill of materials section, and that will give you a very good overview of the workflow from there. Okay, so let's have a think about what to expect going forward with the Skype Operations Framework. As we said, SOF is a living, breathing framework. It's built on an agile development methodology, and that allows us to put in incremental releases continually with major drops typically on a quarterly basis. So we're driven by a number of things. We're driven by feedback. So when we take people who provide feedback on our feedback channel, which we'll talk about in a moment, we take that feedback, we take it on board as we start to think about how should we update our existing assets and how should we look to enable those new customer journeys. It's also driven by Skype for Business product itself. So you'll see being released over the coming weeks, more assets within the Skype Operations Framework that are driven and timed as we go live with new capabilities in the product itself. To give you a sort of a sneak peek of some of the things that we will consider for future releases is more work around the operate area, being able to help people with the operational aspects and potentially planning for operations being a key one. What should you be doing to set yourself up correctly for the operate phase of SOF? We'll think about how we can support room systems, how to enable capabilities, and some of the other areas that are coming based on the product direction itself. So you'll see more from us in the coming quarter. So to find out more, SkypeOperationsFramework.com, virtual training, and we find out more. We want to really tell you to find out more. To learn more, SkypeOperationsFramework.com/academy, where that virtual training is available. Now, we want to make sure that we're hearing from you as well. So we'd love you to go to our SkypeOperationsFramework.com/feedback and to provide us feedback on what works and what doesn't. Share with us anything that you think is incorrect or stuff is missing, any other feedback. So we'd like to have the feedback channel very much as a feedback channel. So you're telling us stuff. If it's more things that you'd like to open up as a discussion, that's where we see the SOF community as being the right place. So we want to keep the two things separate so we can get a very focused set of feedback coming, which we can then action and work on. But the community is more for those longer term discussions that we know people really want to get involved in the discussion, but people are busy. So having that type of community discussion forum allows that cadence where people can post their discussion points. Hopefully your peers will be commenting on those. The SOF team will comment on those. So a great place to go. So feedback for the feedback components and the community for the longer term discussions. So as we sort of get close to the Q&A session here, and just a little thing for those people that are thinking of putting questions in, please feel free to make sure your questions are in the Q&A manager there so that we can work on them in a couple of minutes time. I just wanted to have a little bit of a recap of the Skype Operations Framework itself. So we started the session talking about the shift to the cloud. And the shift to the cloud, what that means for Skype for Business Online, prompting customers and partners to ask for guidance about how to go about delivering and migrating to Skype for Business Online. The Skype Operations Framework provides that guidance, and it's around about delivering success. So the Skype Operations Framework helps to ensure that every Skype for Business Online deployment or migration is deployed the same way, the right way, every time, whether you're deploying for the first time, adding workloads to existing deployment, or migrating from an on-premises deployment of Link 2013 Skype for Business. So again, it's about delivering success and adding that additional journey of the migration from on-premise to the cloud is where we've gone with the cloud migration roadmap, as well as extending SOF with community, with SOF partners, with the assessment, the additional to Academy, and then the cloud migration components themselves. So before we go to Q&A, I'm just going to give a quick recap of what we covered in the training. What we covered here was this understanding the key updates to Skype Operations Framework. So hopefully we've now had a good view through those. That you now know where to download the updated tools and assets, access training and SOF partners, and determine and understand how to provide feedback on our SOF materials. So I'm going to hand it back to Janice for a couple of moments before we prepare to go into the Q&A session.
All right, thank you, Lester. All right, audience, just as a reminder, we will be going into our Q&A session here in just a moment. If you'd like to ask a question, go ahead and enter your question into the white text box, and that'll be located on the right-hand side of your browser or just below the video pane. If you scroll down, you can enter it there. Before we do that, though, I'd like to bring your attention to a link in the upper right-hand side of the viewing window that says Survey Link. That's a link to a short survey for this web conference, and we ask that you please take a moment before logging out to access it. We hope that you found today's information helpful, and if you enjoyed today's web conference or have feedback on how we can provide you with a better event, this is your chance to let us know. The survey scores are on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score possible. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Lester to get Q&A under the way. Lester?
Thank you very much, Janice. So thank you very much for the questions. There's a few of them that have come in. So I wanted to just sort of go through some of the things that we've seen, and also, I suppose, some of the questions that we get from customers and partners at the launch over in Atlanta last week that some of my colleagues attended. So basically, I suppose one of the first questions says, hey, you know, this Skype Operations Framework, the cloud migration release, it sounds great. So where do I start? And I think a key point to reiterate from a starting point for this is go to skypeoperationsframework.com. And on the homepage, you will see the Quick Start button. So my suggestion would be to go to the Quick Start button, answer 1 or 2 questions that help us to diagnose and to direct you to the appropriate customer journey based on your starting point. And from there, basically have a read of the appropriate customer journey document. And the next stage I would suggest is to then scroll down to the bottom of that page, look at the description document. You can open that up on its own. You don't have to download everything else. It comes down as a separate download if you wish to do that. And really spend a little bit of time looking at the kind of bill of materials table, which is a key central table to that document, and the workflows inside there that give you an idea of what we suggest you're doing on week 1, week 2, week 3, and so forth. A little kind of point that's worthwhile pointing out as well is inside those description documents, the Visio diagrams are embedded, so you can extract them, and then obviously you can blow them up, put them out larger if you want to, incorporate them into your own materials. It's there, that they're in there rather than just a screen grab. To give you the ability basically to extract those. So that's within the downloadable description documents. The Visio diagrams are there. And one of the things that I've seen a number of people do quite successfully is they've kind of printed them up onto a large piece of paper. They've kind of stuck them up on the project office wall, and as they're going through, they're ticking off and really using that as a very much kind of visual representation of where they are through the project. It really helps kind of get that cadence and get that understanding across the team of where they are throughout the plan, deliver, operate type stages. So another question that we do get quite often, and one that's seen represented here basically, is okay, well, I understand about this SOF assessment. What do I do to prepare for that assessment? So I think, as I said in the session earlier on, we suggested prepare for the SOF assessment. You should familiarize yourself with the SOF materials. And you can download the materials and assets from skypeoperationsframework.com. So not only to go through the assets and through those materials, but also to undertake the training, and that will give you a great position with which to work through the SOF assessments and to get the SOF ready accreditation. So hopefully that will help you in the preparation aspects for the SOF assessment. And the SOF assessment is live on the skypeoperationsframework.com page, so it's something you can go and have a look at and spend some time working through. Okay, so again, one that's sort of come through about where do I go to understand the workflow for cloud migration. So I think there are 2 places I would recommend that people look at. One of them is within the cloud migration description document itself, as I mentioned. So if you go through Quick Start, or you go to the Get Started page and click on Cloud Migration, then down the bottom of that, you have this description document in there. Basically, you have the workflow and also the Visio diagram to explain the kind of process end to end. I'd also recommend that you look at the recorded cloud migration training and the recorded Get Deployed training, which do then go into a little bit more detail about the workflow that's part of that components. Okay, so I'm just looking to see if there's any other current Q&A. I'll just pause for another sort of 30 seconds, see if anything else is going to come in that you would like to ask us. Okay, so we would take that pause. Again, we'd love to hear from you from feedback or join the SOF community. And I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to join us for this SOF Cloud Migration Release Overview. Tomorrow, for those people that are registered, we will go into a bit more detail about the cloud migration assets themselves and walk through the structure and walk through the workflow to get an idea for how we execute this. So looking forward to being with you again on the session, follow-on sessions. And over the next couple of weeks, there are follow-on sessions for the other updated assets. And really looking forward to your feedback and looking forward to hearing about your experiences of using SOF on your own successful deliveries. Thank you very much. I'll hand back to Janice.
All right, thank you, Lester. All right, audience, the recording for today's presentation will be available on Skype Operations Framework.com/academy. You will also receive an email 72 hours post-conference with details on where to access that. I'd like to extend a big thank you to our presenter, Lester, and thank you, audience, for logging in and joining us today. This does conclude today's session. You may now disconnect from the broadcast.